presses.
And now for something completely different.
There's no business like show business. Are we not entertained? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. Stand by to roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
It's showtime! The Craig L. Hayes Show. Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is It's Showtime, the Craig L. Hayes Show. And we're on the road again, traveling around, interviewing people that work behind the scenes for their careers in show business here in Las Vegas and other parts of the world. And we're continuing our road trip, as I'm calling it. And today we're going to be traveling down the road from the old Westgate Hotel, where we've done so many shows from in the past, to visit with someone I'd never have worked with, but I've known who she is for quite some time, worked with her son for many years over at Splash, and we'll talk about that. But her name is Donna Silva, and we're going to talk to her about her time in show business and all her fun experiences and life experiences, etc. So, Donna, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Craig. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, it's nice to have this chance to sit down with you and have a little bit of a chat and such, and talk about show business. But like we usually will do, we'll start first by maybe going where you came from. If you were a native Las Vegan, say I went to Las Vegas High School, or I went, whatever.
Well,
And if you weren't, just say you came from someplace somewhere in the country, and what kind of I'm trying to show people a little bit about. That not everybody that works in our industry comes from Las Vegas. They come from all over the world. So part of that is to, tell us a little bit about what you were doing as a youth and where you came from, and then we'll talk about how you got into show business, and that'll be the magic right there.
sure. Well, I hope it doesn't disappoint you, but I was born in Las Vegas.
Awesome, native all the way, right on.
My parents were met in Lone Pine, California. They were both from L.A. My grandmother and other family lived in L.A. So, but Daddy was in the Air Force, so we traveled a great deal. I have lived, well, by the time I was 6, I think I had lived in the small western town of Las Vegas where I was born, and the big city of Los Angeles, and Tachikawa, Japan. And by the time I was 6, I had lived in Valdosta, Georgia, the racist South in the 50s, which was
Wow.
a real racist time,
Different time and place there, that's for sure. Yeah.
and only 6 years old.
Wow. But you came and then lived here full time starting when how old were you when you were finally stayed here in Las Vegas?
Daddy really loved the Western. He had gone to Cal Poly in college for a couple of years, and after he got out of the service, we lived on a cattle ranch in Arizona. One of his service buddies' dads owned this huge cattle ranch. It was much like Yellowstone on TV, although it was Arizona and not beautiful Montana. It was the beautiful desert, which is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And so after living on the cattle ranch, which was a great, fun thing for someone, I think I was 7 or 8, about 8 then. And we came back to Las Vegas. Daddy bought the house, and in and out, though, from time to time. And I was a gypsy by then. I mean, I knew I loved to just visit other cities, countries. So I've been around.
Nice. So did you go to school here, high school, all those fun places?
I did. As a matter of fact, I get together with a group that also went to school here every Tuesday and have dinner with them. We just happened to have run into each other at a reunion about 10 years ago. And so I went to John S. Parks Elementary School. Then I went to John C. Fremont Middle School and Las Vegas High School.
Oh, okay.
And a couple years, well, I tried to go to UNLV, but by that time I had 2 children and I had my eyes on being the stagehand that I became. So that took precedence over going to getting a degree. I just took some classes that I was interested in. It was a lot like my dad did. He always wanted to learn about something he was interested in.
Yeah.
So he self-educated after he dropped out of Cal Poly. And that's kind of what I did. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even say kind of. That's exactly what, even now I take workshops. I'm writing a book and I take writing workshops. It's interesting to me.
Never stop learning. That's right. So, yeah, I went to Fremont also. I was one of those Fremont guys.
Oh, yeah. My first protest was at Fremont.
Oh, okay.
Girls weren't allowed to wear pants.
Oh, okay.
And Mr. Keller, remember Mr. Keller?
Little Mr. Keller. Yep.
Well, there was a picture of him doing this when I had about 30 girls who I said, let's just wear our jeans and wear our dad's shirts and stuff like really get a big shirt and just come to school. What are they going to do if all of us do it? So we did, and that was my very first protest. I think it was 7th, it might have been 8th grade. And Mr. Keller was pointing to the gate and saying, "You're out of here, go home." But our parents were really happy that they let us stitch for the rest of the day. We went over to, I don't know if you knew her, but Cokie Ragsdale's house and called our parents and said we got kicked out of school for wearing pants. And it gets cold here in the winters.
Yeah.
And wearing a skirt, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I thought so, at least. And at least 30 girls that agreed with me because they all wore their jeans and their dad's shirts. And some of them even wore their dad's shoes, boots and stuff like that.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. And
Good.
it made a point because after that, I guess the parents might have talked to Mr. Keller, but we were allowed to wear pants.
Protest worked. They do every so often. They really do. But Mr. Keller, yeah, he used to live right up here on Golden Arrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just up the street here. Golden Arrow and Burnham, right in there somewhere. Yeah, I think he's probably gone by now.
Oh, I'm sure.
I saw him about 20 years ago, and he was looking pretty old, but he was still the same Mr. Keller.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome that you know him. We both know Mr. Keller. Yeah, he was a little guy, but boy, he was.
Oh, I was talking about Mr. Keller, the principal, but there was the other Mr. Keller with the little T-bird.
Yes.
That one, he was a very cool guy.
Yeah. Okay, so there was two Mr.
there
Kellers
was
back
two Mr.
then.
Kellers.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't get in trouble like I did.
I had my fair share.
Oh,
Yeah, I had my fair share of being a troublemaker.
okay.
I didn't get kicked out of school though. I got threatened plenty of times, but no, that was Mr. Keller was the school counselor. He was a counselor when I was there.
Uh-huh.
He was a little guy.
The little guy.
Yeah.
With that cool T-bird. Yeah.
Beautiful car. Yeah, amazing. So, and you went to Vegas High School. That's. I was a Valley guy, kind of like your son.
Mm-hmm.
Your son and I went to Valley about the same time, and Vegas High School. I actually performed in the marching band when I was going to Fremont, because I was a part of a unicycle act back then called Unicycle Times 2, and my partner Eugene Balmain, he played tuba for Fremont's band, and then he started playing tuba for Vegas. And so we were the unicycle riding tuba players for Vegas High School.
No kidding.
It's
Tuba
true
players.
story, true story.
Oh my gosh.
We were on TV, and it was all kinds of fun stuff there. It was
I bet.
marched in their bands, and so my life was, when we were doing stuff, I would get up, I'd go over to Vegas High School, work with the band doing choreography, learning how to. I didn't play tuba. I just act like I played.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't play tuba. I just pretend like I played it because everybody else played it. But it was having
And
unique.
it was part of the act.
It was part of the halftime show, part of all that stuff. So I had to learn their stuff and go march with them, and then get done and get over to Fremont and try not to be late for my first class.
Well, may I ask you, was your family in the entertainment business? Like, did you getting together with this tuba playing group that are pretending for you?
For me, well, actually, the unicycle thing was just something we won talent contests for the junior high schools. They were called back then. They're middle schools now, but junior high schools. So we won talent shows with that. We performed at different venues, different places all around town, and then.
But was there someone else in your family that encouraged you to do this, or that had been like, was your father a stagehand or
My father was a
director or
stagehand.
something?
His dad was actually Lee Hayes is my grandfather, and he's the one that actually negotiated the first stagehand contract with Bugsy Siegel.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's where my family starts in our procession of, and that was 1946 with Bugsy Siegel.
The year I was born.
Yeah, but he was working out of the local as a projectionist, because our local was only a projectionist local back then in the movie houses, in Las Vegas and Boulder City and Henderson and different little places, little towns and stuff like that. So we were a projection local, and then we became a mixed local after my grandfather negotiated a stagehand contract with Bugsy Siegel.
Thanks to your grandfather.
Yeah,
I had a good career eventually.
A lot of people had a good career because of my grandfather going down there and having the guts to sit down with a mob guy and say, hey, we got guys that should be running your stages and stuff like that. And he said, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Was Barbara Hayes, is she related to you?
She's my first stepmom.
No, really?
Yes. Yeah, I have to say that because I've had 3 stepmoms. And
Interesting.
Barbara is probably my favorite out of all of them. So.
Well, you and Dennis, my son, worked for Barbara, and I just loved her. I kind of modeled my style of when eventually, and we'll get to that later, but as my career progressed, I always thought of Barbara and what would Barbara do and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's nice. I'll tell her that. I'm going to see her in September and interview her. I'm heading down to Mexico to see her and Dick. So.
Oh, nice.
Dick Palumbi, the orchestra leader. So.
In fact, one night they had the Splash Show, I think it was, and there was a board where they would what do you call that, writing, that tagging on
Oh yeah, the tag wall.
tag.
Yeah, the tag wall.
And so it was just a pretend part of the entertainment. They would tag something. So Dennis didn't know that I was coming to see the show with a boyfriend of mine or something. So I had talked to Barbara and I said, could you get him to say, Dennis, Joe Mama is here? He didn't think it was as funny as I thought it was.
I think that's hilarious.
He was really surprised. And you know how they used to say that? There was like kind of a phrase, Joe Mama, like it's Yo Mama, but they say Joe. And I don't know. It's just a sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was funny.
No, that's nice. That was a fun show. I only did it for about 6 years, but yeah. So we've been around a lot of the same people. That's pretty cool.
Surprising we never met. Yeah.
Well, I was never into the lighting stuff. I was more audio. carpentry, audio, stuff like that. And I mean, I ran lasers. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But I was more of the audio, the go-to audio guy on all these different projects and stuff. So, and and audio guys and electricians don't mix well. So,
Well, that's the truth. Yeah, or carpenters, but in fact, I got in trouble for saying that once. A carpenters has a different mind thought than a electrician or a sound person. But Jimmy Fox from the Hilton International was a mentor of mine. We'll get to that eventually,
Yeah.
but how I came into it. But was he the sound man when you were at the Hilton?
at the Hilton, no.
No.
When I was there, it was Ed Johnson and
Oh, I didn't know him.
yeah. But that I didn't go over to the when it was Las Vegas Hilton. I didn't go there till '94.
Oh, okay. Well, and me. Well, I'm not going to say how old I am right now, but yeah, that was a few years before.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was sworn in. I tried to become a stagehand in 1972, but they weren't having it. It was a father-son local. And I eventually got sworn in 1976. Took 4 years. We'll get back to
and it wasn't just a father-son thing. It was very white back then.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yeah, yeah, because it took into the late '70s before they started allowing minorities into it, including women. So
Right. I was the first woman.
yeah,
Yeah, and the only one for several years. And the same time I was sworn in, B.J. Thomas was sworn in, and a fellow called it the Hawk. Do you
Oh, the Hawk,
remember
yeah.
the Hawk?
Yep.
Yeah, two black men
Yep.
that were excellent stagehands.
yeah, they were both great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then we got it's become much better as far as over all these years, but yeah, it was a time when it was very, very white in the local,
Yeah.
and stuff, and very father son, and it was if you were a woman in local, you were a seamstress or you were a dresser or something like that. That's it. You weren't a stage hand. You were a seamstress or something. So
Right. That's what they offered when I tried. They
Yes.
offered to. I lied. I said I couldn't sew, but I was so poor at that time. I was making my kids clothes, or I would get clothes. People would give you a box of hand-me-downs, and I'd make them fit or make them look cute for my daughter. Like I'd put patches on them with little peace signs and all that hippie stuff that we did back then. And, you know, I was just a creative person, I guess, and I I did know how to sew, but as far as the union went, when they came back with that, you can be a seamstress. Oh, I don't know how to sew. How
Yeah.
could I possibly be?
yeah, they just it was it was such racist and sexist stuff back
Sexist.
then. It was just I it, and I understand the mentality of passing it down to your sons, and so because if it's a family, you're taking care of family, you're watching each other's back, you're taking care. But there's a lot of talented people out there that needed to have a chance to do that too and pass it down to their kids. So it's just it's an old mindset, it's an old brain set from years and years and years back,
Sure, sure.
and it needed to be cleaned out and things changed.
And they were afraid, many of the men, especially the younger ones, seemed to be afraid that all women would just take over their jobs, And that was, I mean, most of the women were not happy loading trucks and carrying par bars and stuff like that. A par bar is a bar with might have six lights on it.
Yeah.
They're light, but they're not light when you get six of them together.
Yeah.
And most women didn't like doing that, so a lot of them didn't.
Yeah. Well, a lot of guys don't like doing that either. It's heavy. And that's the thing. It's like, well, this is the work. And the women that stepped up and said, I'll do that work. I'll push the cases. I'll do all that. It's like, okay, you're one of us, or we're all together. We're a big family. We're a big clan, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
But I've had the I've had the people on stage that that would inform me that they didn't get a degree in when I'm head carpenter at the Hilton. I It's time to clean up. They came in as an assistant carpenter. It's like, okay, grab brooms and mops and let's get this place cleaned up. The show's gone. Let's get it ready for the next one. And I was informed that some of them said, I didn't get a degree in theater to mop a stage.
Oh, those are the ones that went to school for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were never the good workers.
yeah, and my reply was, oh, okay, that's fine. But they never came back and worked on stage. So, it's just funny people, you fight to get into this stuff, you fight to, and then you start putting conditions on it. It's like,
Right.
that's not how it works.
I saw a lot of that because sometimes you have to just, I know two people that just didn't want to be a stagehand that were in a family, and one fellow, his son, and then somebody else I knew, and they said, I just hate sitting there and doing nothing, and then all of a sudden I have to go out there and change the microphone real quick. It's boring, and then it's work, and then it's boring again. So, I mean, to me, that was the time you read a book or whatever you had to,
That's
go to
what
the
we all
bathroom.
did.
I don't know. Whatever you had to do.
Yeah, we all had a book or something by us, and you sit there and just read it, and then you'd be watching the show and read a few more lines, and all of a sudden it's getting close. You put your marker in or set it down, go out there, do your job, come back, grab your book.
So true. I learned to play backgammon when I was learning to run a spotlight. And, between cues,
Yeah.
you could just make your move and then do your cue. And yeah, yeah. It didn't bother. I mean, it didn't bore me. I thought it was wonderful.
Show
I
business
like
is the most
multitasking.
Yeah, show business is the most awesome work there is. I don't care what anyone says, short of going and being an astronaut or something like that.
Sure.
But show business is the greatest job on the world if you take it seriously and you get into it, and man, it is so awesome.
If you want to be good at it, I think the same thing. It was just so interesting, and I like the spontaneity, and I like to be pressured to have to solve a problem quickly.
Yep.
And that's something that it's not, you're paid for what you actually do. You're paid for what you know and what you can do in the moment that the lights go out or the mic goes out, or you know exactly what to do in a moment's notice.
Exactly. On sound, we'd say, everyone, you're going to make a mistake somewhere along the line. How fast can you get back in the game? You're going to hit something wrong. You're going to shut something off. Something's going to happen, and it's going to be wrong. And how fast can you correct it and get back in the game so it's not as noticeable? It's going to be noticeable, but a dead spot or something like that
It's
for a long
really
time is
noticeable.
noticeable. But if it's just a quick pause and go, that's not so noticeable.
In sound, if you get a feedback, it is so noticeable
Everybody's
that that's what kept me away from sound.
Yeah.
I started to go for the sound with Jimmy Fox being a mentor of mine, but I thought, with lighting, you'd have to have a complete blackout, and you could easily put some light out there. And that just never really doesn't happen unless it's the entire hotel has some sort of blackout.
Yep.
And there's always flashlights, of course, like Charo one night. There was something happened in the city where the Hilton, there was a blackout, and she just asked for stagehands with flashlights to come and sit around her, and she played her guitar with no microphone, of course, and
played and sang.
it was beautiful. It was just a touching moment in entertainment. One of the ones that it gives me chills thinking of how she did that so quickly.
And you can have 1,800 people in the room, and you just made them feel like they were sitting right next to you.
So
by doing that, and you just brought everybody to you.
this
on that.
intimate
Yeah.
moment in theater.
You turned it into an old bar, nightclub, where everyone's just sitting around the bar watching. It just changes. It's so amazing when stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
And they just keep going. And she's a pro. Boy, she's a pro.
She is a
And,
pro.
and
Yeah.
nothing would stop her.
She has that persona that she invented, and it got her where she was, as a young girl with her older husband. But when you got to know Charo, she was brilliant, and she was such a excellent performer. She could play that guitar so well, and just knowing that, like, that she could organize so quickly that stagehands, get your flashlights. We'll continue the show. It was beautiful.
That's how
I
you do
have
it.
goosebumps on my arms
Thinking
right
back,
now,
you get them too.
thinking
Yeah,
about it.
it's amazing, isn't it? So we've come to the end of the first episode here. We're almost at the first episode. Give me 2 seconds here. And then when we come back, we're going to come back with a simple question is a little bit more on how you got into the local and start talking about your career.
All right.
And then we'll go from there. Oops. So until then, we're going to just take a quick couple-minute break, get a drink of water, and we're going to continue with episode number 2. So until then, you're listening to It's Showtime, the Craig L. Hayes Show.